It is now my pleasure to introduce to you today's presenter, Fred Romig. Take it away.
Thank you, sir, and welcome everybody to this good presentation that's forthcoming. So here's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about keeping your facility safe. Now we're going to talk about fire suppression, which is our next topic. Two of the most common fire suppression systems are water sprinkler and dry chemical. First, we'll talk water sprinkler. This type of fire suppression system was first used at the turn of the 19th century in the United Kingdom. The first automated system was installed in a factory in Connecticut in 1874. Water sprinkler systems are favored by almost all fire marshals. Basically, iron piping is installed on the ceiling of a chemical storage building where sprinkler heads are attached on the piping at predetermined spacing based on the known water pressure supplied by the local water company. Each sprinkler head has a fusible link with a set temperature setting and will automatically, individually, one head at a time, dispense the spray of water in a predetermined pattern. In a wet type, the pipes are full of pressured water. In northern and southern hemisphere freeze zones, care must be taken so the incoming water supply is buried deep below the local ground's frost line and insulated or wrapped in electric heat tape to prevent water from freezing. The wet sprinkler system requires the interior of the building to be heated in the winter. Or there's a dry type water sprinklers that have no water in the piping prior to discharge, just air. When a fusible link releases, the air comes out first and then the water will be released from a heated nearby facility into the sprinkler piping. And you can see that in that lower left-hand photo that was up. Now there's dry chemical systems. A dry chemical fire suppression system, instead of a water-based system, has fire extinguishing powdered chemicals with added particulate material to provide resistance to packing, moisture absorption, and caking in the piping to achieve a proper flow. It extinguishes the fire by smothering and interfering with the combustion process. The powder mix is contained in a storage tank. This dry chemical, when released, is propelled by compressed CO2. The heads do not come with fusible links, as in the water sprinkler system. Within inches and parallel to the piping, a cable is strung on the ceiling from far within the building, running all the way back to the controls. On the cable, fusible links are distributed at predetermined distances in the cabling, so that when the temperature from a fire reaches the melting point of any single fusible link, the cable is cut. This will release the valve of the compressed CO2, pushing the dry chemical powder into the piping and out of all dispensing heads at the same time. Now there is commonality with all fire suppression systems, and there's more than just sprinkler and dry chemical. But they're all common in that they can trip a fire alarm and turn on a local audible and visual alarm strobe on the roof, as we just saw, and send a signal to a facility's central guardhouse, and it can automatically, or they can manually send that signal on down to the fire department. Now, alarm can be used to close and unlock doors, shut down the ventilation system, release fire-rated drop-down shutters over non-fire-rated windows and non-fire-rated super-insulated cooler doors over non-fire-rated explosion relief panels, etc., etc. Fire suppression systems are involved in determining the amount of hourly fire rating of the construction of the walls and ceilings as to how close hazmat buildings are to other buildings, roads, and property lines. Codes written by NFPA OSHA and the International Fire Code all have very similar but not exactly alike on setting distances. For example, most codes require the building to be 4-hour fire rated when within about 10 feet of another building. But adding a sprinkler fire suppression system will reduce the fire rating to 2 hours. At the other extreme, a hazmat building more than 50 feet from buildings, roads, and property lines do not have to be fire rated or protected by a fire suppression system.